The blinding flash subsided, leaving Alistair blinking in the dim, filtered light. Gone was the cramped, decaying lab of 2042. In its place stood nothing he could have truly imagined. The air hung thick and still, carrying the scent of damp earth and something else, something metallic and faintly sweet, like ozone after a lightning strike. He was standing on what was once a street, though now it was more accurately described as a verdant canyon carved between towering structures. Buildings of sleek, futuristic design, crafted from materials he couldn't identify, pierced the sky, their surfaces draped in a tapestry of vines and moss. Trees sprouted from balconies, their roots snaking down walls, reclaiming the architecture in a slow, silent siege. The sheer scale of the place was breathtaking, a testament to a civilization far more advanced than his own, yet utterly, inexplicably abandoned. The time travel device was gone. Vanished as if it had never existed. Panic fluttered in Alistair's chest, but he forced it down. He had prepared for this possibility. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his racing heart. He was in 2242. He had made it. Now, he needed to understand what he had found. He took his first tentative steps into the megalopolis. The ground beneath his feet was surprisingly soft, a layer of accumulated leaves and decaying vegetation cushioning the once pristine pavement. He reached out and touched the side of a building. The material felt smooth and cool, almost organic. It seemed to be self-repairing, small cracks and fissures slowly knitting themselves closed before his very eyes. Alistair began to explore, pushing his way through thickets of vegetation that had taken root in the city's infrastructure. He passed what appeared to be automated transportation systems, sleek, pod-like vehicles frozen mid-route, their doors ajar, as if their occupants had simply vanished. Inside, he saw holographic displays, flickering with static, and control panels covered in strange symbols. He discovered self-sustaining hydroponic farms, still miraculously functioning after 2 centuries. Rows of leafy greens and vibrant fruits grew under artificial sunlight, a testament to the ingenuity of their creators. He cautiously sampled a bright red berry. It tasted sweet and juicy, a burst of life in this silent world. The technology was astonishing, but the silence was deafening. There was no sign of human life, no indication of what had happened to the people who had built and maintained this incredible place. As he ventured deeper, Alistair found evidence of past power outages. Emergency shelters, stocked with supplies, stood open and empty, their emergency lights long dead. He found fragmented data logs on abandoned terminals, hinting at a once thriving human population. News articles displayed on screens told of technological achievements, breakthroughs in energy production, and ambitious plans for sustainable living. But there were also articles chronicling social unrest, environmental concerns, and warnings about unchecked technological growth. The data was incomplete, corrupted by time and neglect, but it painted a tantalizing yet disturbing picture of a society on the brink. Alistair found abandoned vehicles scattered throughout the city. Sleek, aerodynamic cars with anti-gravity capabilities, construction equipment that could assemble entire buildings in a matter of hours, and various other futuristic items that were clearly left in haste. It was as if the city had been evacuated in a hurry, the inhabitants fleeing some unseen threat. But what threat could have emptied a city as advanced as this? Where did everyone go? Most disturbingly, there were no bodies. Skeletons, no signs of violence, just the vestiges of a hurried evacuation. The city had few signs of what the catastrophic event might have been. The deeper Alistair went, the more profound his sense of unease became. The silence was more than just the absence of sound. It pressed down on him, a heavy weight on his soul. He felt like he was being watched, scrutinized by unseen eyes. He tried to rationalize it. It was just his imagination, the product of stress and isolation. But the feeling persisted, a nagging sense that he was not alone. He wondered if his very arrival was disturbing some type of balance, triggering something that had lain dormant for centuries. Then he saw it. A shimmering, translucent figure, flickering at the edge of his vision. Alistair froze, his heart pounding in his chest. It was a robot, or at least something that resembled one. It was tall and slender, made of polished metal that seemed to absorb and reflect the surrounding light. Its face was blank, devoid of any discernible features, save for two glowing blue eyes that seemed to pierce right through him. The robot didn't move, didn't speak. It simply stood there, observing Alistair with an unnerving stillness. It made no attempt at communication, no gesture of greeting or hostility. It was simply present, a silent sentinel in this abandoned city. After a few moments, it turned and glided away, disappearing into the overgrown cityscape. Alistair stood there for a long time, paralyzed by a mixture of fear and awe. He had encountered something truly alien, something that defied his understanding of the world. The silent robot observer unsettled Alistair more profoundly than even the state of abandonment. It was a tangible reminder that he was not alone, that there were other entities in this future, entities that held the key to the mystery of humanity's disappearance. He knew, with a chilling certainty, that his journey had just begun. The escape he had so desperately craved had led him not to a haven, but to a puzzle, a riddle wrapped in silence and overgrown with vegetation, and he was determined to solve it, no matter the cost. He would unravel the secrets of this megalopolis, even if it meant confronting the unknown, and perhaps the unknowable.